Hi everybody! So today we are going to be talking about Heartsignal Season 3, Episode 3. Okay, first thing I wanted to talk about is this episode. It was revealed who's who on the social media. Not everyone, just the polar bear and the chick. And your girl was right. I was right. I'm a genius. Ji-hyun is the chick and Inu is the polar bear. And I feel like those were pretty obvious. I just wish they would tell us the other names so I could match the names with the profile. Because I know Gan's is like the tulip one. And I know that Min-jae's is the one with the sports car. But I don't know the names of the Instagram account, so I don't know which animal's which. And this means that Inu and Ji-hyun picked each other, like the social media stuff. But we been knew that. Also, another thing that they added in this episode was their diaries. I guess each house member keeps a diary about like what happens that day, and I really liked that they added this aspect so we can kind of like see more like what's going on in their heads as opposed to just guessing by their actions. Now let's talk about the main guy of the episode, eui-dong. He really stood out this episode, and I'm really glad that he's getting some screen time because it's what he deserves. So this episode was more talking about eui-dong and his relationship with Ji-hyun, and like if he's ever going to get her to like him. I don't know. We got to see a lot more of his personality in this episode, which I really appreciated, and I feel like they showed a lot of his personality, like when he's standing in the kitchen with Ji-hyun, and when he's in the shop with Ji-hyun and Hangul, and when he's at home by himself, because he was at home by himself for a majority of this day. He's really like laid back and like thoughtful, I guess you would say. Like he doesn't say a lot, but he's noticing a lot of things and he thinks a lot of things. Like he wrote a list of everything that he thought that everyone would need, like to go shopping from the store. He had like no intention of like, well, he might have had the intention to ask Ji-hyun, but at first he's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go by myself pretty much. But then Ji-hyun's like, oh, I'll go with you, and then Hangul's like, I'll go with you. So Ji-hyun is not alone with eui-dong. And the same thing in the kitchen. He kind of like, it was kind of weird. He's very shy, so he just like stepped back while Ji-hyun was cooking and kind of just like not knowing what to do. Like you can see it. He's like, his hands are like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then Ji-hyun kind of like interacts with him a little bit, so it brings him out of his shell more, and he's talking with her a lot more. And the scenes of him by himself in the house, they were so cute. He was like talking to himself, like looking out the window, and that was so adorable. Oh my god, I love him a lot. And in that house, after they went shopping, he like had organized everything and like put it all out and like sorted it, and he's very detailed and like thoughtful. Like he remembers the little things. And even in the parts where they were at the grocery store, he was still like stepping back and like kind of letting Hangul and Ji-hyun like stand next to each other and like do their thing. And he even went shopping by himself. Like Hangul and Ji-hyun like went to go shop for food, and he shopped for supplies all by himself, and I felt so bad for him. I think Ji-hyun said he felt that eui-dong did this because he knows that Hangul likes Ji-hyun and they have kind of like a thing going on, and he doesn't feel like he can get in between that, which I definitely think is somewhat true. But the part that I thought was really sweet of Ji-hyun is when he's walking behind them and she like kind of like looks back and like grabs on his cart and he says thank you. I think that was kind of her way of like including him in the situation, like making sure he doesn't feel left out, like it's just Hangul and Ji-hyun and he's like tagging along. And he said thank you, so I think he kind of like recognized that himself, which shows how like detailed he is, and he notices the little things, you know. He also cooks for the housemates in this episode, and he cleans the whole house by himself, and that just shows what like a good guy he is. Like he can clean, he can cook, he's thoughtful, he's not abrasive, and I just love him and I stand him. But then we move on to who the heck does Ji-hyun actually like? And this is not hard but also hard question to answer. So I think all the guys in some capacity like Ji-hyun. She's very pretty and very nice, and she can cook, so like she's got a lot going for her, and I think the guys notice that. But I think they all know that they all kind of like Ji-hyun, and that kind of makes them all nervous. That's why Inu was like kind of really aggressive in the first 2 episodes with Ji-hyun. Hangul was like not aggressive, but like he kept doing little things for her, which showed like he likes her. And Hui-dong, he doesn't do a lot, but he notices a lot. Like you can notice him, like he'll quietly stand to the side, but he'll be smiling the whole time that Ji-hyun's talking. And then this episode he kind of like talked with her a little bit more, especially when they were in the car and he was asking her like what kind of house she likes, and he's like, hey, I'm here, which he needs to do a lot more if he wants to be with her. Also, when they were coming back from the grocery store, I was worried about those damn eggs the whole time. Like, I was so worried. Like, Hangul bringing them into the house, I was like, oh god, that's a lot of eggs. Please don't let them drop. Oh my god. But anyway, then the next scene is Ji-hyun talking to her friends. And this is how we can kind of gauge who the heck does Ji-hyun actually like. I'm pretty sure she likes Inu, like a lot. And this is the part where she says Inu's the polar bear, and she voted for the polar bear. She definitely liked him from the start. She's like talking to her friends about the guys in the house. Hangul and Inu, she both describes as like attractive, handsome, tall, pale, you know, whatever. But then when she mentions Eui-dong, she says he's nice. I don't think she's interested in him at all. She's just like, he's nice. With the other guys, they're like, oh yeah, tall and handsome, and Hangul smiles at me a lot, you know. Yeah, she's not interested in him, and I feel really bad because he does like her a lot. I think that Ji-hyun thinks that they're really similar style people, and she finds Inu more intriguing because he seems kind of different. He's also like very masculine looking with strong like jawbone and cheekbones, and he's in like a tech industry. Eui-dong is more like he has like a softer face, and he's a sculptor. So they're very different style people, and I think Eui-dong is just like too soft for Ji-hyun. Not too soft for me though, compared to Inu. So like when she says that Eui-dong is nice, I think that means that she doesn't see him as like a boyfriend, she sees him more as like a friend. And then later in the conversation, she even says like she sat across from the guy that gives her butterflies, I guess. The first night she sat across from Inu during the dinner. And then she explained like the present situation where she felt like she couldn't pick Inu's present because it would be like too obvious that she's interested in him. I think based on her conversation with her friends and her text messages, she's most interested in Inu but doesn't really want to show it yet, which I think is smart because you don't want to get so fully invested in one person that by the time you like go on a date with them or like find out more about them, you realize you don't like them. So it's better to have your favorite but then kind of talk with everyone else, get to know everyone else at first. And I think she's not really interested in Eui-dong at all, but Hangul's a close second to Inu because she followed through and did have breakfast with him the next day, and he also has the book that she gave as a Christmas present, which could lead to some connection down the road. But I don't know, let me know what you think. Who the heck does Ji-hyun like? Alright, the next part are 2 very short parts about Min-jae and Gana, because for some reason, the heart signal editors don't put them in the show at all until like 50 minutes in, when it's already like half over. Then we get to see what Min-jae and Gana have been up to for the day. So first is Gana, and she goes to her sister's clinic or whatever for like the whole day, and then she comes back and her and Inu are sitting across from each other at the dinner table. And this is like the only really significant part Gana has in this whole episode. She's talking to Inu and she's acting really cute. She's like, look at my dimples, I have dimples, and talking about just like, and she's like, oh yeah, my eyes are kind of messed up, and he's like looking in her eyes and he's like, they don't look that messed up. So she's trying to get Inu's attention and kind of like bring him away from Ji-hyun and be like, hi, look at me, I'm here, I'm cute, please pay attention to me, as one would when you have a crush. And he was really nice to her and like interacting with her, you know. But then Ji-hyun walks through the door. I swear, like the clip is incredible. Like you see him be like, he's like looking at Gana and he's like, oh yeah, and he looks over and he sees Ji-hyun and is like, oh my god, hi, hello. I wasn't talking to her, I only like you. I guess, you know, I guess, do your thing. If you really, really like her that much, go ahead. I just really felt bad for Gana because he like completely disregarded her. Like after Ji-hyun walked in, he was like, don't care anymore. Like he literally like didn't care what Gana had to say anymore after that. And that kind of like solidified it for me that like he really is only ever gonna go for Ji-hyun, and like that's it. And I think it also solidified that for Gana because she texted Hongil this episode and did not text Inu. And even the like celebrity panelists, they are like they felt so bad for her. Like, he only has eyes for Ji-hyun, like please find someone else. Like, he only has eyes for Ji-hyun, like please find someone else for like your sake and ours. And then up next is Min-jae, my queen, back from her day at the shop, you know, just fixing up cars, being awesome. And Min-jae's really interesting because she obviously likes Hongil. We also haven't seen her interact too much with Hongil. I don't know if that's due to editing or her just not being around as much, like during the day while they're filming. The thing that made me think she still like really likes Hongil is that she was thinking about him for the rice. She was like, oh no, there's not going to be enough rice for Hongil because Hongil wasn't there in the evening. So she was thinking about him, but I don't know, she might just be like considering, oh, we're missing a person but he's gonna need to eat dinner. I don't know, it shows she's thinking about him at least. But I think that our boy eui-dong is kind of coming into her heart a little bit. I think these two kind of could have something going on later, because the first episode when Min-jae walks in, he kind of like, he stands up and he like gets excited, like, oh, where's she gonna sit? And she sits next to him and he's like smiling a lot, but I think he does find her attractive. And then when they find out she's a mechanic, he like, all the guys thought that was super cool. And then she gets his Christmas present, which he was like, it was a very meaningful gift. Like, it was a book from his high school days that he gave, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll read it. And then he texted her about it, and he texted her like, enjoy my book, basically. So she knows that he texted her, like he used his one text on her, which I think is very significant in the show, considering you can only get one text a night, and they're both very close in age, so I think that could have a good effect on their relationship. And then at the end of this episode, she did text eui-dong, which I'm so excited because he finally got a text. He texted Ji-hyun though, but he texted Min-jae last time, so that's gotta count for something. And then at the very end of the episode, we get onto the date cards. So next episode, we're gonna have dates, and I'm so excited to see who's gonna go on a date with who. Let's break it down. So I have theories on whose card I think is who, and then I also have theories on who's going on a date with who. So let's get into this. There's 3 dating cards because there's 3 guys. So first we have the ugly pottery one. I'm gonna call it ugly pottery one because the drawing is not that cute. This one was very specific. Okay, so what they had to do was draw a picture and then write a little diary of like what they wanted to do on their date. And this one was very specific. He says that he wants to go do pottery, but he ruins the pottery and he's glad it's not raining or whatever. So this one, my suspicion is that it's Inu, because earlier in the episode he was like, I don't know what to do for a date. I'm gonna have to like look it up, like what to do for a date. And so I think that because he looked it up, he wrote a very specific thing that he wanted to do. And Inu is very detail oriented and he has a plan because, you know, he's a tech guy. So of course he has like a plan and like what he wants to follow through and stuff like that. So that's why I think it's Inu. And Gan gets this date card. So I think that her and Inu will be going on a date. And she looks very happy in the preview. So I don't know if that is enough of a reason to theorize that Inu is the pottery date card, but Gan really likes Inu, and so I think she'd be happy to get some one-on-one time with him. I hope it makes them realize that they like each other or that they're not for each other and they'll go on to their respective people that they choose later. The next card is the Sea and Sun card. This is a very pretty card. I liked how it was drawn, and I think it's eui-dong's card. I think it's his card because the drawing's really good and eui-dong is artistic. And if you look at the handwriting from eui-dong's diary earlier in the episode, it kind of matches up with the diary of the Sun and Sea card. And also this card, the what you want to do on a date part, like what he wrote was really vague. It was like, we just have good memories together. And that's something that eui-dong said that he wanted to do on a date. Like he just wanted to walk with someone and talk with them and get to know them. That's why I think it's eui-dong. And Min-jae got this card, so I think eui-dong and Min-jae are going on a date, which I'm kind of excited for because I low-key ship them. But I don't know, I hope it makes eui-dong realize how awesome Min-jae is and that we need someone to change their opinion. We need someone to move on from Ji-hyun. And also I really want Min-jae to get some love because she deserves it. I mean, eui-dong texted her last episode, so that's good. And then she texted back, so I hope they get something going there. I really want them to get together. And then the last card is this weird triangle thing. It's like half of a blue triangle, half like a green triangle, and like that person did not try to draw. They said, I know I can't draw, so I'm just gonna do triangles. You know, that's fine, I can't draw either. So but this one obviously I think is Hangul. The reason why I think that is because it's more due to the preview. Hangul's the last one left over, and he also said he kind of like just likes to go on dates like where you just talk to each other, like doesn't really matter what you're doing, which is similar to what eui-dong said. So these two are the vague ones, the sun one and the triangle one are the two vague dates. But the more reason why I think this is Hangul is because Ji-hyun gets this card. I'm pretty positive that Hangul and Ji-hyun are going on a date, because if you look at both of their previews, Ji-hyun, like they're standing in very similar areas, and then you see Ji-hyun in like a cafe type setting and someone pouring coffee, which is Hangul. Hangul's friend told him to like do something he can show his charms off with, and something he knows, aka Hangul is a barista. So of course they're gonna go to a cafe and have some coffee that maybe Hangul is pouring for her. So in short, I think that Ji-hyun and Hangul are going on a date, and I think that eui-dong and Min-jae are going on a date, and I think that Gan and Inu are going on a date. But let me know in the comments who you think is going on a date with who, because I could be wrong, who knows. Also, who do you guys want to get together? Because I kind of have some ships going, but I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, because I do plan on doing a review for every single episode of Heart Signal Season 3. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!